Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're building a framework for you. We want you to see commercial real estate differently.
Right. Not just as, a line item expense.
Exactly. But as a dynamic lever, something you can actually pull strategically to hit your growth targets.
It's about using smart property decisions for a real competitive edge.
Yeah, sparking maybe some aha moments as you think about scaling your business.
And just to be clear, we're going beyond just, renting an office.
Good point.
The commercial real estate, or CRE, as we'll probably call it, is about proactively using properties, offices, warehouses, retail spots.
Using them as actual tools.
Yes, integral tools to support and really drive the expansion of your operations.
So to give you the clearest, most useful insights, we've sifted through quite a bit, different articles, blogs,
Lots of perspective.
looking at this strategy from various angles. Our goal here, our mission in this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
is to pull out the really valuable nuggets, the key knowledge you need.
Giving you a shortcut, basically.
Right. A shortcut to understanding how strategic CRE can genuinely supercharge your business growth, and hopefully without feeling buried in information.
Okay, so let's lay the foundation. Why should commercial real estate even be on your radar when you're
Yes.
thinking growth? I mean, it's not always top of mind for entrepreneurs.
That's true. Okay, let's unpack that. So one fundamental way CRE helps you grow is enabling strategic location.
Location. It's cliche, but
It really matters. Think about the direct impact of where you set up shop on actually connecting with your customers.
Yeah.
If you're in retail, for instance, getting that foot traffic is, well, obvious, right?
absolutely. And the impact goes deeper than just visibility. Strategic CRE can, fundamentally optimize how your business runs day to day.
Okay, how so?
Well, take an e-commerce business.
Mhm.
Instead of just relying on, say, third-party logistics,
Mm-hmm.
what if you acquired or developed your own warehouse and put it in a really strategic spot?
Oh, okay, I see.
You could drastically cut shipping times,
Mhm.
right? Boost your efficiency in a big way.
That makes sense. And something that jumped out at me from the sources was this idea of control, owning your property.
Yeah,
It just gives you a level of control that renting doesn't.
totally.
And that control can directly lead to a better experience for your customers. You get to decide. You can customize the space, create a specific vibe.
Tailor it completely to your brand, to what your customers need and expect.
Exactly.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, making smart real estate moves can actually boost your overall financial stability.
How does that work?
Well, owning assets can be a buffer against rising rents, for one,
Yeah.
and potentially you build equity over time.
Right, like paying down a mortgage while the property value maybe goes up.
Precisely. You're building a tangible, valuable asset for the business itself.
Okay, so building on that why CRE matters, let's explore some actual strategies, things our sources highlighted that you, the listener, could potentially implement.
Let's do it.
First one, strategic location. We touched on it, but it seems simple, yet there's a lot beneath the surface.
Yeah, it's more than just picking a spot on a map. What really came through was the emphasis on doing your homework. Thorough market research.
Meaning,
You need to really understand the demographics, who lives there, who works there, what's the competition like, what are the broader economic trends in that specific area you're considering.
So it's not just about finding where your customers are today.
Exactly. It's also about anticipating where they might be tomorrow and figuring out the best ways to reach them wherever they are.
That's interesting. And it's not just about your current customers either, is it?
Good point.
Did you think about the growth potential maybe in adjacent areas?
Yeah.
Or maybe targeting customer groups that are currently underserved?
Right. The research we looked at suggested that looking just beyond your immediate zone can uncover some pretty significant expansion opportunities.
Okay, strategy 2 then. Optimizing operations and the customer experience through the property itself.
We used the warehouse example already,
Mm.
but that principle works across different industries. Owning or developing a space lets you design it, specifically to make your internal workflows smoother, more efficient.
And that efficiency boost often translates directly to the customer, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Faster service, maybe a more convenient location for them, or just a more pleasant, thoughtfully designed environment.
It all adds up to happier customers, stronger loyalty. I remember one article mentioning a business buying a warehouse specifically to enable scaling operations.
Yeah, it really highlights how property can be a direct enabler of growth plans.
Okay, now let's talk money, financial aspects, and the need for flexibility.
Right. CRE can offer some interesting financial pluses. For example, if you end up with more space than you need right now,
Yeah.
You might be able to lease out that extra space,
Yeah.
generate some passive income.
No, that's clever. Help offset your own cost, maybe even turn a profit on the side.
Exactly. And this is but the sources really hammered home the need to stay flexible.
Because the market changes, your business needs change.
Precisely. Things evolve. So you can't just lock yourself in completely rigidly.
Which raises a question, right? How do you stay flexible when you're talking about investing in physical, often long-term assets like buildings?
Well, it could mean a few things. Maybe initially looking at different types of properties or different locations that offer more options down the road.
Or having a plan B?
Yeah, like a well thought out exit strategy if things really shift. And definitely keeping a close eye on current market conditions, what are rents doing, what spaces are vacant. That helps you make smarter moves with your assets or leases.
Got it. Okay, another strategy, one that maybe isn't the first thing people think of, building strategic partnerships and networking.
Oh, this one's huge. Who you know can be a real game changer in real estate.
How so?
Well, building strong relationships with agents, brokers, developers, even other local business owners can give you access to insights you wouldn't get otherwise.
Like inside scoops on upcoming opportunities?
Potentially, yeah. Opportunities that aren't even listed publicly. Plus, you might find chances for collaborations that benefit everyone involved.
So it's like creating your own little support ecosystem for expansion.
That's a good way to put it.
And we can't forget marketing and branding, right?
Mhm.
How does that tie into physical locations?
It's critical. Just having a building isn't enough. You need to tell people you're there and why they should come.
So effective communication.
Right. And interestingly, one source pointed out how important it is to keep your messaging consistent across all your channels.
Ah, so online and offline need to match up.
Exactly. If you're opening a new physical spot, your website, your social media, any ads they all need to reflect that expansion and reinforce your core brand identity.
Creating a seamless experience, whether someone finds you online or walks in the door.
That's the goal.
Okay, so we know expanding, especially with CRE, isn't always smooth sailing. There will be challenges. How do the sources suggest tackling those? Like with a problem-solving approach?
Yeah, it's interesting. One resource, even though it wasn't just about CRE, talked about using methods like SWOT analysis.
Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
Right. And also things like design thinking. Basically, structured ways to get creative about how you could use commercial real estate to overcome obstacles or find new paths to growth.
So it starts with really defining your expansion goals clearly and then exploring all the possible real estate solutions creatively.
Exactly. Don't just default to the obvious option.
Okay, let's try to bring this all together. What are the sort of key actionable insights for our listeners, the main takeaways they should really hold on to?
Okay. First and foremost, that deep market research we talked about, it's non-negotiable before any CRE investment.
You absolutely have to understand the local dynamics, the growth potential, and frankly, the risks involved.
Absolutely. Second, and working hand in hand with research, is having a super clear growth strategy.
How does this specific property decision fit into your bigger business goals?
Right. It can't be just a random move. It needs to be an integrated part of your overall expansion plan.
Makes sense. What else?
Staying informed, keeping up with market trends is vital. The CRE world changes constantly.
So you need your finger on the pulse to make smart decisions, whether you're buying, selling, leasing,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep. And finally, don't underestimate those strategic partnerships we mentioned.
Right, building that network.
Those connections can really open doors to new markets, expert advice, insights you just wouldn't get on your own.
So it really boils down to seeing CRE not just as, an operational necessity or cost,
but as a powerful strategic tool you can use to reach your bigger business goals. We saw some pretty compelling examples of this, actually.
Like who?
Well, think about Amazon, their massive logistics network that was built through huge strategic real estate investments. It fueled their e-commerce dominance.
Okay, that's a massive example, but it illustrates the point about operations.
It does. Or think about Google, their campuses, their offices. They're just places to work.
No, they're famous for being different.
Exactly. They're designed intentionally to spark creativity, foster collaboration. That's directly tied to their innovation and expansion. It shows how space can influence culture and output.
So these big names really showcase the principles we've been discussing.
They do.
Yeah.
So to kind of wrap up the main strategies, using CRE effectively for business expansion is powerful, but it needs to be approached thoughtfully. intentionally,
It involves that careful location planning,
optimizing your operations through the property itself,
keeping an eye on the finances, staying flexible,
building those crucial partnerships,
and making sure your marketing tells the right story about your physical presence.
and the two pillars holding all that up,
Having a clear plan.
and being adaptable, ready to adjust as the market shifts.
Which leads us to a final thought, maybe something for you, our listener, to chew on. Thinking about your specific business challenges right now and where you want to grow, what's maybe one unconventional way you could imagine using commercial real estate? Something specific to you that could create a real breakthrough.
It's about looking past the standard uses, right? Exploring the unique potential that smart property decisions might unlock for your particular situation. Something to really mull over.